In that case, the next chance is to offer it at a higher price. For example, 1.1 million, 1.2 million, whatever the price is. Let's just say it's 1.1 million. So that's just another method where you have an idea of roughly where it might be range, but you're not 100% sure. Hey, it's Lawrence Mack, real estate broker here at RE/MAX Realtron, to talk to you today about 4 ways to price your property. I'm going to go through 4 different ways that you can price your property in Toronto's market. You'll probably see a lot of different things with multiple offers or pricing it high or low and that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to go through 4 different strategies that you could price it and the reasons why you price it at that strategy. So for example, we're going to assume that the house is worth about $1 million. So the number 1 strategy is to list it at about $1 million. And then hopefully somebody who thinks it's worth about $1 million will put in that price, and then you get up $1 million and you're done. That's the most straightforward way, and that is the method that I guess was used a long time ago, and is really the typical way in which you would list a house. The second way, which seems to be more and more common nowadays, is let's just say your house is worth $1 million, but you think, you know what, I don't think it's worth $1 million, even though my neighbors priced it at $1 million and the other neighbor sold it for $1 million, I think my house is worth more. And maybe you're right, I don't really know about the different upgrades that you've done, or maybe it's a better location, so maybe it is worth more. In that case, the next chance is to offer it at a higher price. For example, 1.1 million, 1.2 million, whatever the price is. Let's just say it's 1.1 million. So that's just another method where you have an idea of roughly where it might be range, but you're not 100% sure. And so you might as well offer it at a higher price and see where it goes. There is an old axiom in real estate, which is if it's 10 days without a showing or 10 showings without an offer, you're probably off by more than 5%. And you might want to take that into consideration. Again, this is mostly for, a very, very strong residential market, different with commercial, different with the slower residential market. But it's a good rule of thumb. 10 days, if nobody wants to see your house, or if 10 people came in and saw your house and you didn't get an offer, you might be a little bit too high, in which case you might want to think about lowering the price, in terms of the listed price, in this case, maybe 1.05 million, to get closer within the range of what the market is willing to pay. Also keep in mind that if the days on market or DOM is a very, very long period, it'll be baked into the price anyway. So somebody who would like to offer about $1 million for your house, and it's listed for 1.1 million, but it's been on the market for half a year, then maybe the buyers and the buyer agent will be like, you know what, we're going to offer about $1 million anyway, because after it's been on the market for so long, it's probably worth only about $1 million. And so it'll eventually get to the market price anyway. It just depends on how quickly you want to get there. The third method, which some people like, but I think is terrible in most cases, is to list it for $1. So this particular method I don't think is very good. I mean, there's some rare circumstances when it makes sense, maybe for a commercial property or something that's very unique, maybe a lot that you have to build where you can't really establish what the price is. But generally speaking, if there's a house that's, in this case, worth about $1 million, pricing at $1 and hoping that people will bid for it, I think is a very, very low chance. I'm not saying it won't work, but it probably is a very, very low chance. The second reason for that is issue number 4, which is multiple offers. And so I'm going to tie that together with this $1 bid. So you'll see a lot in the Toronto market where you're trying to have an offer date. For example, 2 weeks out, you're going to say, okay, 2 weeks out, we're going to accept offers for this $1 million property and give me your best shot. That's roughly the mentality of the Toronto market because it's so robust and so many buys and sells going on at once. And the question is, where do you price it? And in my opinion, you want to price it slightly below what you think what it's worth so that it can go above it in multiple offers. The problem is if it's $1 million property and you're putting in like $1 as the value, a lot of the agents who are doing searches in terms of the filters won't catch that particular property. Let's just say that they're looking for houses in the $1 million range and they're doing like a filter on their program or their database between 900,000 and 1.1 million. Well, if they do it for that amount, they're not going to see this $1 bid. And so, the method number 3, which is posting at a $1, is very, very difficult for them to find it. And so that's why I don't recommend the $1 method. However, So posting it slightly below the $1 million range, maybe 950,000, is pretty good because they'll catch them in the filter, and also they might be able to bid on that particular property. Which brings me to my last point about number 4 for multiple offers. I do see this a lot of sellers doing it, in my opinion, wrongly, but again, it is your house, you can do whatever you like. But a lot of people feel because the Toronto market is so strong, I'm just going to list it for whatever I'm going to list it at, and people are going to give me silly money, and it's going to be amazing. And then when that doesn't happen, then you sort of take it down and you relist it again at a lot higher price. And the reason why that doesn't work is there's 2 considerations you need when you're going to do a multiple offer situation. The first, when you're holding bids, is again that offer price. So if it's $1, it's way too low. If it's, let's just say your house is worth $1 million and you say, okay, we're going to start the bidding at $500,000. Everyone bring in your best bid. You're going to miss a lot of filters. And so that initial price that you're listing at is very, very important to get the most bids. But the second most important part about getting multiple offers and having an offer date is you have to make sure that the buyer pool will sustain it. I see this a lot in a lot of different selling houses and like condos around Toronto, in which the buyer pool isn't very large. The only reason why you get a higher price than normal is because you have a lot of buyers competing for it. If, for instance, you have a really, really expensive property that maybe there's one like good unique buyer for it, then it's not the right property to put a multiple offer or a bid situation. So for instance, it's really strong, the 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom condos in Toronto, they're going crazy. These are excellent candidates to do an offer date so that you have all these buyer pools, $600,000 to $800,000, and a whole bunch of different types of people want to buy this. So now you're going to generate enough of a market so that you get a good competitive situation. But if you have the same type of condo, like a 3-bedroom, really, really nice penthouse thing, there aren't that many buyers for it. So if it's worth more than $1 million or whatever, and it doesn't look like there's that much turnover in that particular building, putting an offer date doesn't make any sense, because all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, maybe you get 1 offer, maybe you get 0 offers, and you look kind of silly, and then now what are you supposed to do? So something that you really have to keep in mind when you're putting the date. I have seen it before where people have, for example, in the $1 million range, they would put an offer at like $500,000, get nothing, and then list it again at $1 million. And it's just very, very strange because the initial offer date was targeting a certain type of clientele and buyers, and now you have another set of buyers and clientele, and you wasted, about a month. So I don't feel that's a good strategy, but again, talk to your realtor and maybe that's the right strategy for you. It just doesn't make sense to me logically, and that's not what I've seen in terms of numbers, in terms of the optimal way of selling it for the highest price. If you have any questions about that type of strategy, give me a call anytime, 416-276-4895. Talk to you soon, bye.